Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my top 10 favorite book-to-screen adaptations. I'm saying screen adaptations because not all books are just adapted into movies alone. Most of them are adapted into TV shows nowadays, and I'm sure that TV shows are better than movies because we get a lot of time in order to experience a lot of things. So these are my top 10 favorites. Except for the first two, the others are not are in no particular order. So let's just get into the video. Before getting into the books, if my t-shirt looks so bright in the screen, please bear with it because I just like wearing it today. The first one is obviously the one which everyone loves. It is Harry Potter. Okay, even if you have not read the books, I'm sure that you have watched at least one of the movies, and if you have not, you can go watch the movies then move on to the book series because that's how I read Harry Potter, and I'm sure that you will like it a lot because there are a lot of things that are done really good in the movies, and they also stick up with the book a lot. And also, if you just watch the movies, they just scratch the surface of the world when it comes to the books. But after reading the books and going to the movie, or vice versa, I'm sure that you'll have a great experience. I'm not going to speak a lot on this because it's really famous. The next one is also one of my all-time favorites, and it's The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The original movie adaptation, that is in English, it is really good. Okay, it is as such from the book, and they don't even change the age of the characters and the appearance of the characters. It is just like a copy paste of the book, yet it is done really well. I'm sure that if you have not watched the movie, you have to watch it because it's such a great movie, guys. Please do watch it. You can I'll say that you can at least watch the movie if you are not interested in reading the book because it's a great story, and I'm sure that everyone who consumes it will love it a lot. And also, apart from that, the second adaptation which we got now, Dil Besara, it was also really good. They changed a lot of things according to India, but the story was kept as such, and it was beautifully handled by the team, if you ask me. The characters were not as great, if you ask me. There were like certain changes which didn't feel that good, but the wholesome experience of the movie is really good. And this is the monsoon season, right? I'm sure that if you read this book and watch either of the two movies, you will feel great because both of them are really good. The next one in the list is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Okay, I've deliberately chosen this book mainly because when it comes to adaptations, either it is a TV adaptation or a movie adaptation, the author or the writer of the book, they don't have a great stand when it comes to the moving of the story. But there's a special thing when it comes to Gone Girl, which is it is such a twisted story, right? If you read the book or watched the movie, I'm sure that you'll know. And if you haven't, I highly recommend that if you're going to read one book this year, read this one because it'll drive you to read a lot more because it did that to me last year, and that's how I ended up here. Okay, and this what happens is actually there's this couple named Amy and Nick, and on the 5th anniversary of their wedding, what happens is Amy just goes missing, and things start revealing. There are like diary entries that Amy has done, and it seems like a homicide has happened in their home, and there are a lot of evidences which just frame that Nick has actually murdered Amy, and he's just trying to escape by lodging a complaint with the police. And it's a great story. It just changes the whole town in which the story takes place. That's great about the movie. Another thing is that in the movie, the screenplay for the movie was actually written by Gillian Flynn. Okay, it is such a twisted story. I'm sure that no one else will be able to tell such a story in the proper way except her, and that's one of the main reasons why she actually wrote the screenplay for the movie and not actually the director or the crew of the team. Okay, and also the casting for this movie is great. It was great for the previous two books which I told, also Harry Potter and The Fault in Our Stars. I don't want to tell for those, right? But when it comes to this book, I'm sure that they cast the characters in a great way. Ben Affleck, who is actually the current Batman in the DC universe, he plays Nick, and there's this actress named Rosamund Pike. She plays Amy. You know, the book is totally about Amy, right? And the things that Amy does, and in order to represent such a character like her in a proper way, just think how much work must have been done by that actress, and she did it brilliantly. And please, if you've not read this or watched the movie, do go and watch it. And for this alone, I highly recommend you to read the book, then go to the movie, because if you just go to the movie, it'll definitely ruin the book. Okay, even for other books which I'm speaking about in this list, it might be okay to watch the movie then come to the book, but for this one you have to read the book then go to the movie because it's just as such. Okay, and it'll just rip your brain apart. It's such a good book. The next one in the list is The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. For this one also, I first watched the movies, then I came to the book series, and I've not finished the series yet. I've just read the first book, that is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. And if you ask me of the three, my most favorite in the movies was the last one, which is The Return of the King. It was really, really well done. Just imagine these three, the third movie alone in the series, it grabbed like 11 Oscars, which is like the highest number of Oscars for a single film. It is one of the three films that have won that, and it was just great, guys. Okay, just imagine how much work must have been put in by the team in order to bring this incredibly crafted world to the screen. Okay, it's not at all easy to bring the fantasy world. Any world is difficult, but when it comes to fantasy, everything needs to be made up, right? Because nothing in this one is something which someone has seen. It actually comes out of the head of someone, and I'm sure that they did a great role in that one. They are slow movies, they are long movies, but if you have the patience and the interest to watch them, they are like definitely rich treats, and I'm sure that you'll have a great time while watching those because they are not twisted in any way. Okay, they are just beautifully done. The next one in the list is a big fat one, and actually there is not just one movie. The recent edition of this book itself is in two parts, and you'll know what the book is because it's that huge. It's by Stephen King. Okay, it has two movie adaptations. It part 1, chapter 1, and it chapter 2. Chapter 1 was really good. Chapter 2 was good. If you have read the book, I'm sure that you'll like the second movie also. But if you've not read the book and you're just a movie fan, I'm not saying you inferior in any way. Not I'm saying if you're just a movie fan, okay, then I'm sure that you'll not like the second movie as much because they just did that what was actually said in the book as such in the second movie. Okay, and the advantage for the book was that we actually changed timelines throughout the book. That is, we get a part of the story in the present and a part of the story in the past. It just how to say, in the middle of the sentence the story pauses and the next word of the story starts in the past or the present. I'm not sure if you're able to understand it or not. That was really well done in the book, but I'm sure I can understand that it is really difficult to put this thing into a single movie. Okay, and they actually did a good job doing it into two movies. And if you ask me, the first one is my most favorite when it comes to the two. The second one, I'll not at all say that I didn't like that because it was a good time. It just did what needs to be done from this book, and many people think that it didn't do justice for the book, but I personally think it did. The next one in the list is also one of my most favorites, and it is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Okay, it also has 4 movies for 3 books. I don't know why they made 2 movies for Mockingjay, which is the worst book in the series. Okay, and I didn't watch that. Okay, I watched just The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. Catching Fire was really good. Okay, it was as good as the book, and I just loved it a lot. Okay, I think Jennifer Lawrence actually depicted Katniss as such from the book, and it was really good. Okay, the brutality of the world of the Hunger Games, in which everything is totally torn apart and nothing is not at all fair. Okay, generally life is not fair, but in the Hunger Games, it's not at all fair in any way. And Catching Fire actually catches fire, and you know it if you know this. The girl who was on fire. Okay, I just wanted to quote it as such, so I just saw on Reddit. I'm sure that if you don't like reading, please do try The Hunger Games. I'm sure that it'll pull you into reading because it is such a sick thing. Okay, but you'll end up liking it a lot because it's that type of a story. The plot of this is just that every year in this world there's this reality show which is called The Hunger Games happens, and the concept of the Hunger Games is that there are like 12 districts totally, and in all those 12 districts two teenagers per district, a male and a female, are selected, and all of them are put into this great arena where they have to play Hunger Games. The winner of the Hunger Games will be the one who actually survives at the last. All the other, okay, there are 24 people totally, right? 2 for each district, so 24. 23 will die and 1 will be alive at the last, and they'll actually become the winners. It is such a sick thing to hear, right? And I'm sure that it is really well executed by Suzanne Collins in the first 2 books. I don't like the third book, just as I said before. I don't want to talk more on that. And if you've not tried The Hunger Games, do try it. The next one is probably the most epic of all. It's more epic than The Lord of the Rings, and it is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Okay, it is just great. Okay, the show, though it didn't end well, the things that were done in the show were really great. Okay, if you read the books first, I'm sure that you'll love it. If you like fantasy, you'll love it. If you're just a normal reader who wants to experiment your reading, I cannot advise you to read Game of Thrones because it is really tough and it might get a bit boring and dragging at times. But the twists in this story are great. Okay, the politics, that's like honey cake. Okay, it's just so succulent and you can just see the politics throughout the series. I think this is the best fantasy series that has the perfect politics. If you ask me, it is actually like politics in the real world. If the world of Ice and Fire is how to say, it's real, then I'm sure that all these things are really legitimate to happen because they are the human things. Okay, there is this particular thing which the actor who plays Tyrion Lannister says always, Peter Dinklage. He says that though the books and the show has a lot of dragons and magic queens and kings, dragon mothers and incest, everything, it is not at all about all those things. Though we have dragons and magic, they are just a part of the story. The characters that they are in the story are the most important focus. Okay, he doesn't freaking concentrate on the dragons at all. We just get glimpses of the dragons here and there throughout the series, but instances in which they come are great. But these characters, the character work in this one is just great, guys. I'm sure that you cannot say any character is good or bad in this one. They are either, how to say, you cannot judge at all. They are like so totally great. There is not even a single character in this one that's totally pure in any sense, because everyone does something bad at some instant. And if you've not watched Game of Thrones, go and watch it. Watch the first 6 seasons and just make your mind that the series has ended. Don't watch the 7th and 8th seasons because they are trash. Especially the 8th season is total trash. Okay, it has some good twists, but the ending was like, how to say, making the cake and throwing it in the ditch. So don't watch the last 2 seasons. Just watch the first 6 seasons. And I'm sure that if you watch the climax of the 6th season, you'll just understand why or what that series is about. It is just good. Okay, it was so good, just go and try it out. The next one is actually a slice of life kind of a story because it's a contemporary. After Fault in Our Stars, I think this is the best adaptation if you ask me, because it was so beautiful, it was so cool. That's the main thing that I'd like to say about the story as well as this book as well as the movie. It is so cool and it is very well handled. It is just like eating ice cream. Okay, and I'm speaking about Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. The movie is called Love, Simon. Okay, I'm saying that if you're homophobic in any sense, you have to read this book and watch this movie because you'll understand what it actually is about. Okay, it's so normal, and how beautifully they've represented in the book as well as in the movie. It's just great, guys, and I'm sure that there's no perfect time to watch this. Okay, you can watch it during any time of the year, and I'd say that you must watch this either when it's raining outside, it's thundering outside, or when it is a really good summer day. If you watch this, I think you'll just learn to love this movie because the story is so cute, sweet, subtle, and it'll just make you feel happy after having read it or watched the movie. So please do go and try it out because it is such a good work. The next one in the list is another psychological thriller, and there's a big clash of opinions in this one because most people don't like this adaptation, and it is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Okay, this book originally is really good. It is such a short book, guys, but the amount of thrill in this is just exquisite. Read it during a rainy day and you'll understand what it is about, because most of the time in the book it rains a lot and it's great. Okay, I'll not tell you what the plot is about, just go and read this because it's so short. You can just finish it in like a day or two. You can finish it in a day because it will just suck you in. It's that good. And the adaptation for this one, it was not very well handled, but it is a complex story, guys. Okay, it just, within this short amount of time, you just keep switching between the heads of people, and it is really difficult to film. Okay, I can understand that certain things like this one are tough to film. I can say that this is tougher than Gone Girl to film because there are certain things that have been incorporated into this book that actually happen within the head more than just around and scheming. Okay, scheming is not the main part. The psychology in this book is the main part, and I just loved this for that one. The movie was not great, but it was a good attempt, and I do appreciate that they did the way they did it because it was not bad. The last one in the list, this is not actually my least favorite, believe me. Okay, because it's becoming one of my most favorites right now because I'm watching the show, and this has both a movie version as well as a show version, and I'm talking about the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Okay, the first book, City of Bones, was alone released as a movie first, and it was not at all well received. That's mainly because the book is huge. Okay, in the edition which I have, it's over 500 pages, and I've tried to do everything that's been said in the single book in a single movie within 2.5 hours of time, and the casting of the characters is not that great. I can understand that because people don't like watching people like that, but that's the reality of the books. Okay, all of the main characters in this series are teenagers, and the actors who played the roles in the movie were like teenagers, and I just liked that part because it didn't just want pretty people to play the roles of certain characters. It was done in a proper way. Okay, I don't like people trashing that movie because a 500-page book, that to a first book in a series, it has a lot of world building. It just lays out the foundation for an epic world. Okay, and I do think that they did a good job in making the movie. But the series adaptation, which I'm currently watching now, that's the main reason I put it in the last. Okay, I've not finished watching the series. That's mainly why. Shadowhunters, which is the series that is, how to say, adapted from these books. It is just great. Okay, I've just finished the first season alone. The relationships that they actually show, it has as much angst as it has in the books. Okay, Cassandra Clare, I'm sure that she's well known for the way in which she writes romances. She doesn't make them seem gross. She doesn't make them look steamy, but she just introduces that angst into you. If you watch Tamil films, I'm sure that you've watched at least 1 or 2 Selvaraghavan films. Okay, the romances in these books are just like that. Okay, they are not bad looking. Okay, they are not at all bad to look. They look so real. They are so angsty. That's the main part of this series, and the series, they've done great justice for all the characters, though they don't look their actual ages. Okay, they are all teenagers, but all of them in the series actually look like adults, that is over 20. And I'm sure they're all over 20 because they look well built, and they are not looking like in the transition between young adult and adulthood. They look good. Okay, they look good in that sense. But the pairing that they've done, the casting is really great. Okay, I just love all the shippings, that is the romances that are shown, especially Clary and Jace. I didn't even I couldn't even imagine that I would end up liking Clary and Jace's romance, because it was done really good in this series, because we have a lot of time and they just do it in a proper way. It doesn't look boring. It doesn't feel annoying in any way. I just like that pair from the series. The next one is Simon and Isabel. Actually, we get Simon and what's that Faye guy name? I don't remember his name. Melion, yeah. Isabel and Melion, that relationship was good. Simon is just so good. Just as he is in the books, he's just represented in the the series. But there are quite a few number of changes that they have made throughout the series. But it is good. Okay, for a series, it looks really good. The best part is that Malik, okay, Magnus and Alec, of all the straight romances that we actually have in the series, that gay romance, that's the thing that looks a bit more better compared to all the other relationships in the stories. That was really good. I'm sure that if you had watched the series, you would accept me in this in every way, because they were the pair that have been done the perfect justice rather than any other pair. I'm not saying that the others didn't look good. I'm just saying that this looked way too better, because I'm just experiencing it while watching it currently. It's really good, and I'm sure that this will end up in a good way. That's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a big fat thumbs up, because I enjoy filming this a lot. And also, if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.